Right at the top of the hour, once again, this is News Tonight at 10, and I'm Patricia Lukomampango, and of course, Mugalu is with us on sign language there. First, though, the headlines. In our top stories tonight, African leaders in Ukraine for peace talks. Now, in police, over 1,630 Uganda police officers have been promoted. NRM and Tebe, NRM supporters want primary elections process changed. And lastly, parents advised to respect and uphold children's rights. News Tonight begins. A delegation of African leaders has today attended a high-level meeting in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, in pursuit of a dialogue that will lead to a peaceful resolution to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The former Ugandan Prime Minister and Special Envoy, the Right Honorable Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda, represented President Yoweri Museveni in the mediation talks. President Museveni was unable to attend the meeting due to COVID-19, and of course he is currently under self-isolation at Nakasero State Lodge. The other leaders who attended the meeting include His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Macky Sall, the President of Senegal, His Excellency Azali Assoumani, President of Comoros, who also doubles as the current chair of the African Union, His Excellency Hichilema Hakainde, the President of Zambia, His Excellency Mustafa Madbouly, and then Prime Minister of Egypt, and the Special Envoy representing the President of Congo, Brazzaville. In the closed-door meeting, the African leaders discussed with the Ukrainian President, His Excellency Volodymyr Zelensky, the way forward on how the two rivaling parties can end the war that has disrupted the world economy. The meeting was held at Mariinsky Palace in the city of Kyiv. A formal statement by the head of states is to be issued later. The leaders will now proceed to Russia to meet President Vladimir Putin over the same cause of discussion, a potential peace plan to resolve the conflict. Earlier this month, President Museveni pledged his support and contribution to the peace process in the current Russia-Ukraine crisis. While attending the virtual meeting hosted by President Ramaphosa on 5th June 2023 at State House Nakasero, President Museveni emphasized that the two countries, that is Russia and Ukraine, could benefit from the African perspective on peace. The president noted that the conflict has affected Africa, highlighting sanctions that have affected banking and the marine transport, among others. Now, government has explained circumstances under which the king of Renzururu was given amnesty with 217 others. A committee instituted by General Salim Saleh on recommendations of the president presented a report after making consultations to find a lasting solution to the conflict. Granting amnesty was one of the key recommendations. Let's hear more in this report.
Kasese district residents are celebrating the release of their king, Charles Wesley Mumbere, who had been imprisoned in connection with the atrocities committed in Renzururu around 2016. His release has sparked controversy, with various political figures making statements on the matter. The government has clarified that the release of Charles Mumbere and 217 others follows a report from a dialogue committee established to seek a lasting solution. The committee was comprised of representatives from the royal family, led by the Queen of Renzururu, and government officials led by Dr. Ambrose Agona, the former executive director of NARO. The committee was overseen by General Salim Saleh.
And they spent around, I think, close to 4 months interviewing people, studying documentation, looking at the whole situation, what happened, and they came out with recommendations. And it is these recommendations that have led to what you have seen.
Nevertheless, some politicians and analysts have expressed concerns about granting amnesty to individuals believed to have committed atrocities. Typically, amnesty is granted to those who acknowledge their involvement in such acts and plead guilty.
That you go and batter people, you kill people, you dehumanize them, you torture them, and then you tell them, ask me for pardon. So unfair.
But those are unfortunate incidents. And we should say, no, it should never happen again. But if we keep doing post-mortem, reminding people about all that, it's very unfortunate. And it's not that people died in 2006. People died in the 60s.
And I am very sure Museveni hurried to ask these people to sign for amnesty because he just needed something around him to defend him and from the amnesty cases. I mean the ICC cases.
You only need to study about him. There are many people who have written about him. And for you to think he can just append a signature on an amnesty form because he's forced, that one will never be my king, the king I know, because he's a revolutionary king.
The report recommends the reconstruction of the palace, psychosocial support and economic assistance for those who have been released.
Automatically, some of them, men who had wives, some wives are still waiting for them. Some might have left. Some have lost their relatives. There are some even who died in jail. All that will be handled.
The period of imprisonment, according to Godfrey Kabyanga, the State Minister for National Guidance, should serve as a lesson to the people of Kasese to promote unity and cooperation,
so that we can redirect our people into socio-economic transformation activities, support President Yoweri Museveni's initiative on wealth creation. Kasese is a very fertile place, is a well-endowed place. Let us not keep in conflicts all the time.
Prior to their release, Mumbere and others were facing charges including murder, attempted murder, terrorism, and treason. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
The Senior National Resistance Movement cadre Kasese District, Dr. Crispus Kiyonga, has condemned some sections of leaders who have continued to spread harmful propaganda relating to the King of Renzururu Kingdom, citing out some opposition politicians. Kiyonga condemned the lies put against the King of Renzururu Kingdom and his subjects, alleging that the government forcefully granted him amnesty. He, however, thanked President Yoweri Museveni for the move and used the same arena to wish His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, quick recovery as he gets COVID-19 treatment.
But I hear some leading politicians in the country were talking in a way of provoking people, first telling lies and provoking people. This is very, very unfortunate. Those sisters and brothers of mine, if you really want to be useful to your people, for me, I'm in politics because I want to help people. That's how I went to politics. Not to go and tell people lies. Useless people. If you have a people, whether they are advanced or backward, but more importantly, people who are still backward, they need honest leadership. People who tell them the truth and guide them on what to do. There are people here, if you ask them, you are in power, 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms. What is your legacy? What did you leave? Nothing. But Jionga, whether you are in Buhuhira, whether you are in Kitrobira, whether you are in Kasenyi, you ask what Jionga has done, they will tell you. And I'm happy that I helped people from the leadership of NRM in this of Kasese. We thank God the Almighty for this event of offering amnesty to our people. In the same vein, we thank His Excellency President Museveni for his spirit of reconciliation, for his parental guidance, and always acting within the framework of the laws of Uganda. We also thank His Majesty Omusenga wa Renzururu for his flexibility, for his cooperation with President Museveni, for agreeing with President Museveni that the way forward was reconciliation within the context of the laws of Uganda. And we thank His Majesty for accepting to take advantage of the amnesty law in this country, which has resulted in the pleasure we are enjoying, the pleasure we are celebrating, because His Majesty the King was flexible and said, let's take advantage. Once again, to congratulate His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Chairman, National Chairman of NRM, and the President of the Republic of Uganda, to congratulate him on the quick recovery from the COVID-19 infection. We were all delighted to see him yesterday during the reading of the budget in strong form, and he firmly gave us progress.
And in court, the hearing of the case of dealing with suspect of property against the State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Agnes Nandutu, flops. This followed when prosecution failed to present witnesses in this matter, since some of the key witnesses were arrested by the Inspectorate of Government earlier this week.
State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu has once again appeared at the Anti-Corruption Court in Kololo to answer charges of dealing with public property of over 2,000 pre-printed iron sheets, which were meant for the people of Karamoja. Prosecution alleges that in receiving those iron sheets, Nandutu had reason to believe that the iron sheets were acquired as a result of loss of public property. Although the case was set for hearing, this was impossible, since prosecution failed to present witnesses in court. Prosecution led by Jonathan Mwaganya and David Bisamunyu informed court that their key witnesses in this matter were arrested by the IGG, pending with charges of corruption and embezzlement. Bisamunyu added that, although they have over 10 witnesses, those remanded were the co-witnesses in this case. They asked court to give them more time. Among the witnesses to testify against Minister Nandutu include the Undersecretary of the Office of the Prime Minister, Geoffrey Seremba, and Joshua Baho, the Senior Assistant Secretary to Minister Chitutu. Nandutu's lawyers, Kari Baraka and Evans Ocheng, didn't object to the prosecution's prayers. Judge Jenny Kajuga adjourned the matter to 4th July 2023 for hearing. Rebecca Nantongo, Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Now, at least 1,638 police officers have been promoted to various ranks, including Senior Commissioner of Police, Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, and other ranks. The ceremony held at the Internal Affairs Ministry headquarters was presided over by the Minister of Internal Affairs, Right Major General Kahinda Otafire.
1,638 police officers have been promoted to various ranks, including Senior Commissioner of Police, Commissioners, Assistant Commissioner, and other ranks.
And on the advice of the Uganda Police Authority, His Excellency the President has appointed on promotion 1,638 officers, gazetted police officers, to the ranks of Senior Commissioner of Police, Commissioner of Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Senior Superintendent of Police, Superintendent of Police, and Assistant Superintendent of Police.
The Minister of Internal Affairs, Major General Kahinda Otafire, urged other junior officers to be further promoted, as it is the only honor they can get in their service to the country.
So, servicemen deserve recognition, because that's the only thing we can give them. We can't pay them enough to lay down their lives, so we should recognize their service by raising them in rank.
Otafire also urged the concerned authorities to address the issue of housing for the officers, as many come from far away to reach their posts.
The Ministry of Finance authorized us to get people to build houses by a method of pre-financing. Recently, you told me that you are working on prisons and this other group of immigration. Please do it first. I want this housing project for the police, for the prisoners, for the immigration to commence once and should be done very quickly. Now, when I've done promotions, I've done housing, I've fought for salaries, then we can start dismissing people who don't do their job.
Police management and several senior police officers attended the ceremony. Nicholas Nduga, UBC.
Thank you very much there, Nicholas. Now, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development is advocating for the affordable access to high quality and safe online resources in order to enable the internet accessibility to children. This call was made by the State Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development in charge of Children Affairs, Sarah Nyirabashi.
Modern children have access to technology and the internet for various reasons, including research. This, according to experts, may negatively impact the children if not properly guided.
And I want to thank the government of Uganda for building for us a school for the deaf.
Parents actually isolate and put aside their children, and they actually leave their children to use the gadgets.
It is for this reason that the State Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development in charge of children, Sarah Nyirabashi Mateche, is calling upon all stakeholders to take responsibility of the children while using internet.
Ensuring affordable access to high-quality online resources for all children is paramount. Telecom and technology companies should work towards lowering connectivity costs, consider the needs of the unconnected when developing infrastructure plans, invest more in public hotspots, create culturally and age-appropriate content.
Non-government organizations, championed by Raising Voices, have led strategies to help in protecting the rights of the African child. However, a lot more needs to be done.
And one of the things we are doing is we are using the little information we have to share it under our media campaign. For example, we contract several media partners and run multimedia campaigns. So one of the themes that we are running with is children's safety online. And from the previous engagements that we've had, for example, in the live talk shows, we've learned that parents have appreciated so much. Majority are green about this. And so we are providing those small steps that parents and schools can take.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, David Agrichivenga, says the uncontrolled use and access to information is crucial, emphasizing the need for a safe digital tool.
We must also define and disseminate our core national values and digital principles. What is our acceptable content for children? What is our acceptable content for children and adults?
The chairperson, Uganda Law Reform Commission, Pamela Tibihikira, stated the need to transcribe laws in formats easily understood by children. To this, the Commission transcribed the Children's Act into Braille to enable visually impaired children to read.
In furtherance of this mandate, and as stipulated in those aforementioned provisions, the Commission in the last financial year transcribed the Children's Act 59 into Braille. This was to enable visually impaired persons read the Act in a format that is readily accessible to them.
The Day of the African Child was first celebrated in 1976 when students marched in Soweto, South Africa, protesting the poor quality of education they received and demanding to be taught in their languages. Irene Faith Nantongo, Mary Namokosi, UBC News.
Nakuru Teenage Center embarked on training youth leaders on health services and integrating them into youth empowerment programs. The move is intended to implement the action plan to end the practice of child marriages and other forms of violence against girls, including teenage pregnancy.
In 2022, government through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development launched a 5-year national strategy to end child marriage and teenage pregnancy 2022-2023 to 2026-2027. The national strategy is an all-inclusive framework that reflects the global and national commitment of government towards ending the practice of child marriage and other forms of violence against girls. The strategy, among others, provides for an effective, strategic and multi-sectorial programming on ending child marriage and teenage pregnancies in Uganda.
There is no district. If there could be very few where we don't have the presence of NGOs. But also through our structures, the youth councils, the women councils, the people with disability councils, the elderly councils, those councils are helping us to do a lot of things in the different places.
To implement the strategy, Nakuru Teenage Center has embarked on training of youth leaders to equip them with the necessary knowledge to end such forms of violence in their respective communities.
We are expecting them to go back and evaluate the quality of services and work hand in hand with the health system at that level to improve quality of services.
The training started with youth leaders from the regions of Acholi, West Nile and Central.
We want to now accept that can we positively engage our fellow young people to make them understand the different opportunities that we expect from them to fight the teenage pregnancy.
The training has been done in partnership with the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, together with other partners.
So the youth leaders have been trained on social accountability and how they can hold duty bearers accountable for services that should focus on youth, from health services to livelihood programs to development initiatives like PDM.
The intention is to provide for an effective strategic multi-sectorial programming on ending child marriage and teenage pregnancy in Uganda. Currently, Acholi and West Nile regions top the list with the highest number of gender-based violence, which has been attributed to poverty, according to Olivia Kichoncho. The Department of Reproductive Health in the Ministry of Health is in partnership with Uganda Police in resolving rape cases between parents and victims.
And sometimes we have even seen perpetrators becoming serial perpetrators. They rape one person after the other, and they are known in the community and no one is doing anything about them.
Now over to Yumbe, where refugee learners and those from the host communities of Bidi settlement have called upon the government of Uganda and development partners to improve ICT facilities to improve digital learning. Learners pointed out these challenges during the Children's Parliament held in Yumbe to commemorate the Day of African Child, being organized by World Vision and other partners through the Office of the Prime Minister and Yumbe District Local Government.
To air their views and to tell the world that whereas technology is good, there should be safeguards put in place to ensure that children's rights are not abused by perpetrators using technology, but also when children themselves have access to technology, they do not misuse it.
Speaker of Yumbe District Council, Kasim Asiku, says government initiative of rural electrification is one of the moves that can bridge e-learning in schools, as FinEd Church, which is part of the consortium, supports schools with digital tools like computers.
And our thinking is that for us to achieve this desire of digital technology in West Nile sub-region, specifically in Yumbe district, there is a need for government to really now accelerate what is called the rural electrification. It is now the poles standing, but these poles have not been energized.
We as FCA, we have tried our best. We have supported schools with the digital items.
Mariam Nakasango, the focal person for child protection in OPM's Community Services Department of Bidibidi Settlement, cautioned children against misuse of computers and phones that they have for learning purposes.
Digital era, as we look at it right now, is the way to go. However much we are using our digital machines, let's use them wisely, because they also have side effects.
Joseph Fodama, UBC News.
And now in a refugee conference, war and unrest has been cited as the leading cause of displacement in the East African community and in the Horn of Africa. This underscores the need for IGAD and the East African community countries to invest more in preventing outbreaks of turmoil that lead to generations of refugees.
They were here at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala to share ideas on the refugee crisis in the two sub-regions. Focus was both on prevention of occurrence and management of asylum seekers. This is why resolutions were drafted, debated, approved and signed. These were some of them.
And ensure refugees who are born in host countries, irrespective of their age, have access without discrimination to birth registration and certification, including for late birth registration, to advance durable solutions, and prevent statelessness, including options to be granted citizenship.
Among them was the need to take the gospel of finding lasting solutions for refugees to the heads of states.
We agreed to undertake relevant government-led legal, policy, institutional and regulatory reforms to facilitate multi-stakeholder, multi-sectoral and whole-of-society approaches in refugee management.
The resolutions were in line with submissions from diplomats.
The ICGL Secretariat stands ready to reinforce its cooperation with IGAD, EAC, UNHCR, IOM and other development partners to promote the effectiveness of the durable solutions for forcibly displaced persons.
We must also think out of the box and pursue complementary pathways within the region, which include labor mobility and education schemes in the IGAD and EAC sub-regions.
The African Union stresses the need for durable solutions that address the root causes of displacement.
The ministers from refugee hosting countries of IGAD and East Africa would add their voices.
Solidarity and responsibility sharing is everyone's role, international community and host countries, and this should be seen in theory, but also in practices.
We remain committed to this, but it puts us also in under immense pressure to uphold these policies with more than 1.5 million refugees.
I am happy to inform you that we empowered refugees in our country. They enjoy complete freedom of movement as we provide them with ID cards, convention traveling document, and asylum certificate for those whose application for refugees status are under review.
To crown it all was the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga. She was here on behalf of the President of the Republic of Uganda.
All this suffering has been inflicted on the African people on account of internal weaknesses or political fragmentation, due small kingdoms and chiefdoms that could not defend our people from European invaders.
Her message of the day emphasized on stability to prevent refugee occurrence.
I want to reiterate that is the stability of this great region alone that's the true durable solution to the refugee crisis.
The 4-day conference was held under the theme, Enhancing Coordinated Regional Approaches to the Refugee Situation in the East and the Horn of Africa. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you very much there, Henry Okrut. Now over to Amolata. Amolata district has received a brand new marine ambulance to help in medical emergency responses in the district. The ambulance was handed over to the district by the government chief whip, Dennis Hamson Oboa.
Amolata district has received a new marine ambulance to help in the emergency responses in the district. The ambulance was handed over to the district by the government chief whip, Dennis Hamson Oboa.
On behalf of His Excellency the President, the NRM government represented by the Ministry of Health, I hereby cut this tape to represent the fact that from today henceforth, the water boat ambulance procured by the NRM government for Amolata district is officially launched and will start its operation today.
The government chief whip, Dennis Oboa, asked Amolata district officials to put the ambulance that has been given to good use.
And I believe it is going to render a lot of service to the people of Amolata, especially the women, the children, and the men who are needy. And the UPDF Marine, which has been tested and tried, including Uganda Police Force Marine, and the civilian authority that they are training, will be able to work together.
If we are to connect this water ambulance to road ambulance, given the fact that Amolata is a peninsula district and without a general hospital, the road from Namasale to Dokolo is also in the NRM manifesto and in NDP3. We request that this should be actualized.
The disease burden in Amolata has malaria on the lead, pneumonia second, and helminthiasis the third. Malaria currently we stand at 52% test positivity rate.
Kyoga North MP Junior Bitai Kokot wants more connection for the Peninsula District.
Can no do permit to na politics. If they put pay here top Jome Amolata can put a virtual la maybe ready we copy Jome Amolata can Amolata.
The boat is extremely expensive, being a medical boat. So wouldn't love to see this boat moving stuff.
The Ministry of Health says a short code of 912 has also been secured for medical emergency responses.
Ministry of Health wants to strengthen the communication call and dispatch system for emergency medical services. So it doesn't stop at buying ambulances. We also have to make sure that when you're sick, you should be able to call and an ambulance comes and finds you where you are, picks you, they take care of you.
Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Ebisera by'okuzzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is the future of Uganda. And as a policy maker, the policies I enact today will protect her from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Ojja kumpa irisiti tompa birala irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa birala mpa irisiti yange.
That's right. Insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
Juko.
Yo.
What you
Check
the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Jerry Con! Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best good business I teach you. But never come up with the muscari because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious, you. What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru and Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, wait. Jerry card.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Welcome to the Business Desk. The Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amonge, has commended the establishment of the Global Coalition for Social Justice by the International Labour Organization. Director General Mr. Gilbert F. Hungbo, she pledged Uganda's commitment to actively engage and collaborate with the coalition, believing that by empowering workers, promoting social protection and addressing inequality, meaningful and lasting social justice can be achieved, leading to a brighter future for all.
Recognize that COVID-19 pandemic has pushed the world into global crisis never seen before. Overcoming the social inequalities laid bare by the pandemic calls for vigorous public action, combining the intensity of short-term response with long-term goals. We have noted that many unique interactions between the drivers of vulnerability existed before the pandemic, each unique. We therefore call that in addition, income inequality made worse by pandemic, increased negative impact of drivers, mostly on women and girls. The hardest hit most are the informal economy, whose businesses cannot recover without government intervention. Uganda has thus put in place social assistance grant for empowerment for older persons aged 80 years and above as a monthly cash support. That stands ready to actively engage and collaborate with this coalition. We believe that together we can achieve meaningful and lasting social justice by empowering workers, promoting social protection, and addressing inequality for a brighter future for all.
Now, still in business, economists are urging government to refocus its priorities on including the 39% of Ugandans who are still engaged in subsistence agriculture in the formal economy. While analyzing the budget for the financial year 2023-2024, tax experts have highlighted the potential burden on existing taxpayers.
Uganda Revenue Authority has prioritized technology as a tool to assist in monitoring trucks entering and leaving Uganda across its access points in the East African region. Peter Oboy asserts that this technology has eased their work and undoubtedly will yield desired results to the country.
We don't want unfair competition in the market, whereby when a cargo does not reach its intended destination or does not pay taxes, it becomes unfair for other traders who have paid taxes. That means they will sell their goods here at a lower price than the guys who have paid taxes. So when a truck will receive a signal that there is a problem with the truck in terms of the electronic device is tampered with, that means there could be that they are opening that truck to offload the goods. So they will send us information here, and then we send a response unit called RRU.
According to Atham Singuzi, the Customs Supervisor Warehouse, Uganda Revenue Authority continues to impound goods that illegally enter Uganda. Subsequently, goods whose owners don't redeem them in time end up being auctioned and others destroyed following stipulated guidelines.
And if they are not allowed, they are contraband, they are outlawed, like cigarettes. And like cigarettes, like any other prohibited items, then they are subject to destruction. We destroy them using the NEMA, under the supervision of NEMA, and we use government facilities. We have the destruction site at Nakasongola, and for cigarettes, we have Nakasongola and Jinja. And for those that are supposed to be sold, then we sell them by way of public auction.
The Supervisor Customs Department, Moses Wanjala, says the media should assist in raising public awareness against tax crimes by educating society and providing knowledge about dangers of non-compliance.
Some of you who are media owners, you can offer us free airtime, but sometimes we also buy. You can help us by, in your program, from time to time, to pass on this information to the media. You can help us in explaining to the taxpayer the benefit of paying taxes.
Crispus Arinetwe, Justin Nakami for UBC News.
Now, as we sign out from our business segment, allow me drive you through the financial market update as we look at how the shilling is faring and how different counters are performing on the Uganda Securities Exchange. In our financial markets this week, let's start off with the forex market, where the week ends with an appreciative trend on the shilling to trade at 3,687.21 buying and 3,697.21 selling against the dollar. It then depreciated against the other currencies, as we can see in this preview. On the Uganda Securities Exchange, at the close of this week, the Uganda Securities Exchange recorded a total of 477 shares exchanging hands with a total turnover of 14.2 million shillings. Activity on the counter was minimal, recording only 21 deals on the counter. At the beginning of this month, we witnessed a flat 75 shillings trade on Bobu, Bank of Baroda, Uganda, and a sharp price decline by 59 shillings per share was recorded mid-month to trigger a turnover of 977,000 shillings, trading 61,000 shares. MTN recorded a turnover of 2.6 million shillings, trading 15,000 shares at only 170 shillings per share. Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited, SBU, recorded a 10.4 million total turnover to trade 400,000 shares at only 25.66 shillings per share. Umeme traded the list with a few shares exchanging hands. Other counters remained flat with no activity on the bows. More activity is likely to happen on Bank of Baroda Uganda Limited due to such a big price movement, which usually triggers activity. A total capitalization stands at 17.9 billion shillings, a figure that defines the Uganda Securities Exchange. For UBC News, I'm Patricia Nkoman-Pango.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for international certification and employment in various disciplines. 12,000 Ugandans have received global oil industry training and international certification in welding, heavy goods vehicle driving, and scaffolding, among others. 6 public and private institutions have received international accreditation and certification from industry bodies such as City and Guilds, ECITB, OPITO, AWS, and NEBOSH. 250 government officers from various ministries and agencies have trained in oil and gas-related disciplines such as petroleum engineering, geosciences, law, and economics. 71,300 Ugandans are currently employed in the sector. The National Oil and Gas Talent Register provides visibility to Ugandans with skills and competencies for possible employment in the oil and gas sector. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Now, as we cross over onto the international scene, the Minister of Works, Transport and Transport General Edward Katumba Wamala has urged the Central Corridor member countries to address the issue of non-tariff barriers in order to grow the regional trade. General Katumba made the observation in Burundi's capital, Bujumbura, at Central Corridor's 12th Interstate Council of Ministers meeting.
Enjoy the benefits of belonging. Thank you. And I think this will give you a good start off on your term of office. I will call upon our member states to look at one of the inhibiting factors, and those are the tariffs, and some of them non-tariff barriers which we impose on our traders. I think the new delegate from from Malawi, highly talked about this, and we need to address them so that our corridor becomes attractive to the transporters and traders.
Also, I would like to reiterate the commitment of the government of the Republic of Burundi, under the auspice of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Burundi, General Evariste Ndayishimiye, to support all regional efforts likely to develop and facilitate trade and transport within the Central Corridor region. Indeed, my country is and will remain committed to regional programs and other multimodal infrastructure projects that unite us and connect to our neighbors' countries.
And I also wish to thank the Executive Secretary, Advocate Flory, and Mr. Kokomili for the support they have been providing to the Ministry of Transport and Public Works of Malawi as we continue to learn about CCTTFA. Our participation in the 24th Ordinary Executive Board of Directors meetings and this 12th Interstate Council of Ministers meeting provides additional and probably more superior learning platform as we conclude the process of acceding to the CCTTFA agreement, as may be amended to accommodate new members.
We get bigger and better, and we know that the future is brighter because of the strength of our unity. So really, also in ending, I wanted to congratulate you, Honorable Chairman, for completing your tenure very well.
First of all, the Malawi come to contribute in the growth of the Central Corridor, because previously we were 5 member states. We had 5 member states, but from today now we have 6 member states. Mean that the family is growing up. So this is a big outcome.
And now quickly into sports. Uganda's winning streak has been broken by Nigeria. Nigeria beat Victoria Pearls by 3 wickets in their second meeting and last group game in the Kwibuka T20 Women's Tournament happening in Kigali, Rwanda. Uganda elected to bat fast and set a score 72 runs for 9 wickets in 20 overs, with Stephanie Nampima and Immaculate Nakisoi the only batters of the score in double digits, 21 and 12 respectively. Nigeria needed only 18.5 overs to win, posting 76 runs for 7 wickets, hence defeating Uganda by 3 wickets. This is the first loss for the Ugandan side that has been unbeaten for the whole tournament. Despite the loss, Uganda is already into the finals and will face Rwanda tomorrow afternoon at the Gahanga Stadium in vie for the ultimate title of the Kwibuka T20 Women's Tournament.
It was not that we wanted to set few runs, but whatever happened, it also helps them to go and find where to go and correct in their batting aspect. We came back to field and limited them. We bowled very well, pushed the score up to the 19th over, which was a good thing for the loss of 6 wickets. But tomorrow's game, it will be a different tempo and we are going to go back and rest. We are playing in the afternoon against Rwanda. We know and we believe that we are going to do the best to play the best cricket we've ever played and make sure we come with a trophy at home.
Now, with Mbale Heroes Football Club has held its final training ahead of the first leg of the playoffs game against Bukedea Central FC slated for tomorrow in Bukedea Town Council. The club coach Abeki Komeko says the players are ready for the game, which is determinant of their road to the FUFA Big League. Let's hear more in this report.
Mbale Heroes Football Club has conducted its last training session ahead of their first leg away encounter against Bukedea Central FC.
We are going to go to Bukedea wanting to win, and I know we shall be coming back successfully with a very good margin of goals. The team is in good shape, apart from one player who got some problems and I think he went for an operation. But the rest two are there and in very good shape. The goalkeeper, the first line and the striking line, all of them are well motivated.
Coach Abeki Komeko says the intention is to gain FUFA Big League status and later either Uganda Premier League, where he believes the team belongs.
We are playing the playoffs for Big League, and what we want to do is we want to make sure that from Big League, definitely we have to qualify and take back the team to the top flight, which is the Uganda Premier League level. Because Mbale Heroes is one of the biggest clubs in Uganda. It has a very good history. And what we want to do is to want to see it come back to the top flight. In Mbale here, we don't have any other team in the top flight apart from one which is playing in Big League, that is Kataka. Now that we've acquired the city, I know we also need to have at least a Super League club, and definitely Mbale Heroes is going to be one of the clubs, and maybe we can as well have two, Kataka and Mbale Heroes, which will be very good motivation to the city.
The vibe in the camp is electric, with the only call for fans to rally and believe in the team to succeed.
The match yencha tujetaga nnyo engeri gyeri kwawe kuba twetaaga okubanga bigiri tujukwayo season yemu tusaba okubeera nga abawagizi baffe babeerayo mu bungi.
Mbale Heroes is hopeful to go on better than the previous two attempts, one of which was lost to Ginger North last season.
Well, as we sign out, let's have that recap on our headlines. Once again, in our top stories, African leaders in Ukraine for peace talks. And in the area of promotion, over 1,630 Ugandan police officers have been promoted. In Entebbe, NRM supporters want primary elections process changed. And lastly, parents advised to respect and uphold children's rights. My name is Patricia Lukomampango, and I was with Mohammed Mogalo on sign language. It has been a pleasure. For now, we say good night.
From Airtel, buy your gift,